Life is like a blockchain here in COINburg. COINTALES, woo!
COINTALES, COINTALES.
Welcome, everybody. Happy COINTALES episode 46. And yeah, it's the Great Mass Beat, Cantonese Cat, and Tracker.
Hello. Oh, the ad just started. I'm monitoring this on my phone. Oh, now I can skip the ad.
You better mute
Great.
that stuff.
I muted it. So, yeah, hello, everybody. Welcome to our Triumvirate Convenes, the Triumvirate show where we just kind of stick our heads together and look and see what's going on in the markets and stuff we like and stuff we don't like. We just kind of pal around and tell jokes and share charts and stuff. So, yeah, here we are. And what are we going to talk about today, guys?
Well, I think it's in the title, COINTALES, if that didn't give it away. So it's we're going to start the show off with Coinbase and see if it has room to run.
Yeah, you know, and Kat said something really smart about this.
Yeah, you're going to show mine. Wait, what are you going to say? What?
Oh, just that you identified an Elliott wave running flat. In this.
Yeah,
I didn't see it, but as soon as you said it, it's like, oh yeah. Oh, okay, I see it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
We'll get to that soon.
Yeah. Pretty classic.
Unless you want to start off with it, Kat. Do you want to start off with it?
No, I don't. I don't have it ready for show here, but it's all right. No, go ahead and talk about your Coinbase. I mean, I think we've been talking about it for a very long time, and last time we had a little bit of a false breakout above the 0.886, and we broke back down, and that's unfortunate, but here we are again. Double top time. Go for it, man.
Yeah, double top time, just like double bottom time. Boom, boom, boom. Double top, double bottom. So yeah, on this chart alone, it is breaking above the 886. And actually, if it continues this way, it has the potential to be the highest weekly candle close ever in history if it can keep on the rise. So we'll see how that develops on this chart. But yeah, the last time Kat was pointing out, this was a false breakout last time back in December, and it just collapsed back to the 786, to the 702, and even the 618. But it was just a double bottom and a very, very ferocious recovery back to the 886. So yes, if we're looking for a breakout, this 318.95 is exactly what needs to stay above for that to happen. And this is basically all-time high territory, right? If we stay above the 886, I believe all-time highs will be next. And then what comes after that? Well, we got the fib extensions up here, 873, 1200, and MicroStrategy went to this 1.618. So and Palantir is almost there too. So if they can do it, can Coinbase get to the 1.618? That's 2156. I think it's very, very possible for this cycle. And I just want to switch gears to my linear scale again for you guys. I showed it on the weekly update last week when I added it to the Tesla and Palantir chart. And here it is. So it also broke out. My linear scale again. You can see this is the 45-degree angle down here. Perfect support. And that huge crash just retested the 45. So I can see why it went there. It had a destination in mind, and sure enough, it went right there. And now we're breaking above everything. So according to my linear scale again, this is a very good breakout. And the bottom of the arc here is around 328, 327, 326. So stay above that. And the blue level is really around 318, 319. So this has potential to just stabilize now on top of this arc. And if it can do that, that means that really has potential to also stabilize and above this 318.95, which means it's clear skies ahead, right? My linear scale again is painting the picture that previous resistance right here of the arc has potential now to flip to a support, which really means explosive moves could be coming. So I know I don't like to celebrate too soon at resistance. You know me, I'm always cautious at resistance. And here we are talking about how bullish we are at resistance, right? Because this could get rejected right here and it could come back down pretty good. But I think it has a very solid chance of holding that 318.95 zone. And more importantly, maybe even this 326 zone down below for holding that arc as support. So Coinbase is on a tear. It's a monster stock. It was basically the biggest shakeout ever here, but it was just, in my eyes, the best accumulation zone possible. Just buying on the way down, building a bigger position to take advantage of the ride back up. All right, who's next?
You can swap to me.
Not me.
Yeah, you can swap it to me. And this is the chart that Tracker is referring to. Really, ever since the bottom of late 2022, early 2023, it's been forming higher highs and higher lows, and it's basically made a very, very huge move, made about a 10x or so. And then it just decided that you can't just keep on going, even if it's extremely bullish. It needed to take a break at some point. So this parabola broke, and then as soon as it broke, it formed the Elliott running flat over here. I think it actually looks pretty perfect for like a little bit of a double bottom over here with the ABC correction. Instead of having C, a lot lower, I guess this is a little bit of atypical. Like B is a little bit higher, C is actually just flat, right? Hence the name of running flat. So if that's the case, sometimes these running flat, instead of having your traditional ABC, where it just kind of goes down A, B, C, you can have a flat here. And shakes a lot of people out, get a lot of people really scared. But this whole thing right here could be a wave 2, and this right here could be a wave 1. There's just kind of what I'm seeing, and if that's the case, this is 1, 2, then wave 3 could be coming, and wave 3 could usually is like the most powerful, most bullish of all, and it goes the longest eggplant of all. So I think that maybe some pretty decent things are coming here. Another thing to talk about too, Matt was talking about the 0.86 log fib level here being very, very important. Well, just look at where Coinbase is right now. If it would have been closing today, then it would have been the highest close of Coinbase on the monthly ever, right? Because even since its IPO, it closed below the 0.86. Even this candle over here, it closed below the 0.86. We've never really had a candle that closed above the 0.86. And if we end up closing in the month of June about the 0.86, then this final boss would have finally been broken. And I think that it would continue to gravitate up to some of the higher levels, which I think we will not be too crazy to talk about. We'll get there when we get there. And the month is not over yet, so let's not celebrate quite just yet. Let's just... COINTALES is a continuing story. It's not the conclusion. So let's just not get too bullish here. If we're able to close about 0.86, then I think the middle chapter might just be beginning. I think this thing can potentially go up higher over time. If you're looking at the Bollinger Band, we are also trying to stretch the Bollinger Band here to the upside. You have price going sideways over for more than a year. You have contraction here happening, but that's also gearing up for a bigger move to come. And I think this very, very impulsive, 3 Caucasian privates here is looking like there's a lot of momentum to the upside. It doesn't mean that we're just going to keep going up higher, right? Like here, you have 3 very nice bullish candle here, but you end up cooling down here before pushing up higher. So even if we break about the 0.86, it doesn't mean that we just move from there. We can still have some volatility here before going up, especially since the monthly Bollinger Band hasn't really been fully expanded quite just yet. With that said, this is very, very impulsive price action. Even on the weekly, you can see how nicely the weekly Bollinger Band is finally expanding as well. And this really would give more room for price to really go up to the upside here. And daily, we're expanding too. So we're pretty much on all time frame looks bullish, except for the weekly, except for the monthly. It's not quite ready quite just yet. Currently, with the breakout that we're having right now, is some pretty decent volume. So I think all of these breakout right here is real. I don't think these are just like shakeout, liquidity shakeout, or anything like that. I think all these things are real. If you want to talk about fundamentals, I think they're finally realizing that, hey, we need to buy more Coinbase because altcoin season is coming, maybe, and also because they've joined SB 500. I think there's still a lot of buying pressure behind the scenes, kind of like Palantir. And I think that some pretty good things are going to come. So back to you guys. Tracker, you're next.
I was trying to build this chart here. I guess I can kind of finish it up live. Matt's got me on the screen here. So on the left here is the same Fibonacci retracement that Matt was using. The 100% level from this 368.90 to all the way to the 0 down to this 31.55. And then you kind of look at the fibs. My retracements are on the left. And then I've done a fib extension on the right from this low of 31.55 to this high of 283.48, and then this higher low of 146.12. And that lets me, Elliott wave extensions, all you do is you just kind of build a, you look for, this is like a 100% move, right? Don't worry about the color of the arrow. Let's make it black. And then you grab it and you stack the arrow on top of this higher low right here. And then, so, if this was a correction, you'd call this like a measured move. The AB wave is the same length as the BC wave. I'm sorry, the A wave is the same length as the C wave. But in this case, we're going in the up direction. And you see how from 0 to 100, and you just stack it on the higher low down here. And 100% on this is exactly the same distance from 0 to 100 here. So that's all we're doing. We're just grabbing, oops, I can't write. I'll just, you're just taking this, right? If I put it right there where it started, that's 100%. But I'm just grabbing the 100 and I'm just stacking it up here. And then these are extensions. Now, my extension waves, you've heard me talk about them a lot. They're just these patterns. They go a few different ways, typically. A flavor that I've been seeing a lot of for 2025, ever since the April 4th correction, is a 382.236. So I was going to draw that real quick here. Now, we didn't quite get that. Actually, maybe I should do the 764. No, let's do the 382. Let's see. Oh, gosh. 382.236 will look like that. Obviously, this is not what we got. Then to the 123.6, then the 764, and then the 22. And what I like about this, I've been drawing this a lot. This is how I draw my charts now. So with this fib retracement from the 31.55 back to the 368.90, and then these extensions up here, then I kind of band out the 382 to the 236, the 886 to the 702, and the 1414 to the 127.20. Now, typically, it's an either-or proposition once you get over the 100% fib. I haven't figured out exactly how to determine which of these is the next one yet, but I'm getting closer every time I chart something. So yeah, you can see right now we argued the 886 couldn't get it to the 100% level, so it sent it all the way back down to the 382. And then once there, it didn't have to go to the 29.732, which is great, and it sends it back up again. And now we're above the 886 again. Now it just needs to get to the 100% level, and then maybe do a little test back to the 886, and then we can go to the 127.2 or the 141.4. Now just notice how when I set up this wave 1, wave 2 for the Fibonacci extensions, my 123.6 almost perfectly matches up with the 127.2. So this is my prediction here. Even if it was like a 618236, what if it was a 618236, but it kind of got, with all the bullishness, it just got blown a little bit to the north. And then because it went too high, it snapped back down about that much lower than it was supposed to go. So it's really like a 618236 that got overblown, and then overcorrected. And yeah, so let's see. I would like to see it go. I love doing this, by the way. Let's see. Yeah, let's see if we can get to the 100%, back to the 886, then the 127.2, then the 100%, and then this final target up here, the 2236. I'm just going to change this to a smaller degree. Whoops, not that one, this one. Intermediate wave. There we go. Now it's got the parentheses around it instead of the circles. So yeah, maybe we get this. And that happens, well, let's see. No, gosh. See, after a 1, 2, 3, 6, usually you want to go back to the 7, 6, 4. But because it's 100% here, yeah, it just wants to retest the top of the 100%. So I think it will be like that. So maybe I'll get rid of this. And that just leaves us this. So yeah, this is what I think we might see Coinbase do. And of course, every time it goes through one of these blue zones, you're gonna hit resistance here. So like right in this part, just as it hits that, it'll probably come up, down a little. Oh no, it has to be 5. Probably go up, down a little bit, into it, halfway down, and then out to the next. This itself is divided into 5 subwaves. I guess it is kind of like that. Maybe the 161. I love playing around with this stuff. Let's just do it this way. It goes bing, bang, boom inside of it, and then gets on top of it. All right, there you go. I think the Coinbase chart could end up looking something like this. So I'm looking for a pullback to 338, just at the top of the 886, or actually it won't be 338, it'll be 330.44. And then up to the to the 127.2, back to the 100%, 141, 127.2, to my 1618 on the right, back to the top of the 141, and then on up to the 200%, which it's 200% on the left, matches up with the 2236 on the right. And there you go. That's what I think we're going to see with Coinbase. And then you take this whole thing from 0 to 100, and all we've done is we're just doubling it. See that? From 0 to 100, and gets on top of it, and it goes from 100 to 200.
Bigger.
And that's here's my Elliott wave patterning for Coinbase.
Bigger arrows. No, and that's also just the subwaves for wave 3. I also wanted to mention. Is that right?
Yeah, I mean, this whole thing could just be this whole thing would be 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5 goes to I don't know, 2618. No, probably 3618.
We'll get.
Let's just do this.
We'll get there when we get there.
Let's just do that.
I'll say it's a bigger arrow, man.
1,050. What is that? Maybe I think it would be 300%, right? It would be 300%. Doy math. 100% plus 2 plus another 100% plus another percent is 300%. There you go. So yeah, to 1,043.
Oh man,
and 60 cents. So yeah, let's look for that.
We're just making the market crash tomorrow by being so bullish. That's.
Everyone's gonna say that I jinxed.
You know how it's gonna go.
But it is gonna.
I mean, like. No, I think we all.
I was on the show with Matt this morning. He said Coinbase was at resistance. Coinbase is at resistance.
It still is.
And so yeah, it could easily come back. Well, let's see. Let's see if we can get to 368 and then back to 334. I'll just write the numbers on here. So what? 368.90. And you guys at home can learn. I'm not talking to you, Kat. I'm talking to the audience, the peanut gallery. You guys can learn how to do this at home. All it takes is practice. Practice. That's how to get to Carnegie Hall and how to draw Elliott wave. You just kind of keep doing this stuff, and after a while, it just becomes second nature. And I've just drawn so many charts at this point. I draw a million charts every day for the last 2 years.
You should.
I've drawn so many more charts in the last 2 years than I ever drew in the whole previous 14 years of my existence as a.
I can picture you.
Tracker's Crow. Tracker's Crow in the background. What's going on back there?
Uh-oh.
Oh, that's SOXL. SOXL just crossed 24.21 in after hours action. Let's take a look. SOXL. Here's my SBET. Oh, yeah, look at that. SOXL just went to my resistance. It's the 76.4%, $24.25 on the right, 24.44 on the left. You're 141.4, Matt. 24.44. What's the price at right now? 24.21. After briefly touching. Oh, I don't have it. I've got the thing turned off. Here, I'll just do it like this. 24. Well, okay, so 24.22 is what it's so far. That's where I set my alert. So yeah, it's about at resistance, and then it can run back down here to support again. 1956 to 1936. That would be a 764.382, unless Cat thinks that this is also a running flat, and it's just going to get swept up higher instead of correcting all the way down here like it's supposed to. See my 8-hour moving average 75. It's creeping up this way, and it's supposed to like meet it like right here. That line's supposed to meet this right there, right? That just has to go to your home on top of the Ichimoku cloud. All right. So yeah, Coinbase. I'm excited. And so yeah, I sold because I sold at resistance here. I thought it might come back down to 268 from 296. It didn't. It kind of hung around. It just went sideways, and now I just kind of watched it do this move. That's okay. I'll just let it hit resistance, come back support, and then I'll buy it right there. Or I guess I could buy it now and just like let it run up and down. But anyway, yeah. Is this the thing you were talking about, Kat? You're like, you maybe could retire in a year and a half.
Well, if there's a whole don't tell people that. No, I'm just kidding. It's fine. If there's a whole wave 3 that's gonna come, and if it's gonna last for like a year and a half or something like that, something ridiculous, then yeah, I mean, if Coinbase does well, then a lot of the other assets gonna do pretty well too. I think miners gonna play catch up, and then altcoins gonna play catch up, and yeah, I think there's a good chance that that's happening, you know, But yeah, I do worry a little bit because we're talking so bullish here when Coinbase is at resistance. Even the QQQ is like right at resistance at like the previous all-time high. So I don't know what to make of it. Yeah, SPY is getting close, but QQQ is like right there. So
while we're talking about technical charts, I wanted to show you guys something else that I thought was really cool. I don't know if you've ever seen anything like this before, but as you can see, I was like messing around. I put a whole bunch of stuff on here. Let's see, where do I start with this? So see right here, I kind of drew, well, actually it starts with this one right here. The very obvious dip down here to 4180. And then, no, that's not the line. Oh no, okay, I did the whole thing from, all right, so from October 30th, 2023, I've got a projection where I think we're going to go to 667.64 to 671.55. That's simply on the left side, it's the 1414, 67.64. On the right side, it's my extension to 671.55. Now, notice this is just 123.6 fib. This is actually just a wave 3. Then you get a wave 4. Then wave 5 goes to the 2236, way up here, 933.23. But what I thought was kind of interesting was, I guess I want to show people how well these retracement fibs work. So let's just start off with this story. Oh gosh, which one? This one right here. So from this low, no, not that one. What did I do with it? It's this one. It's this one on the left. So right, this blue dot right here, I know there's a bunch of blue dots. This blue dot here is the start, 481.80, 0%. And then you just trace it back up to its previous high. And that was 613.23. That happens to be our previous all-time high. And so 100% of the move from here to here is represented by these fibs on the left. And then you just kind of watch and you see how price action argues. Let me turn off the lock on here. How price action argues. So we did this, and now we're coming back up. And so look on the left side here as I go back up. It comes down to the 50% level, test back up at the 702, can't get higher, and then 50%, can't even touch the 70.2%, boom, drops down to where we get to the 0. And then it starts to make its way back up. And where does it go first? It goes right up here to this 29.732. And I was talking with Matt the other day. I'm sorry, this is a really technical show, guys. But the whole reason why this 29.732 is what it is, it's because it's just the 702 backwards. See? It's the 702 when you reverse the whole chart, 29.732. I figured it out, Kat. That's what it's from. So anyway, you can see it goes back to the 29.732 right here. This one right there. Drops back down just to scare everybody. Doesn't go all the way back to 0. It kind of oscillates around the 11.4 here, right there and there. Goes back to the 50%. So here, 50% was support, then it was lost, now it's resistance, goes back down to the 23.6. Then it makes it back up, can't quite get to the 50%, so it goes back to the 23.6 again with a little wick below. Goes back up, can't get to the 50%, drops back to the 382. So we got a 50, 382, 236, 382. It sounds like I'm just calling out numbers of a inverse head and shoulders, right? Because it's starting to get like a little head and shoulders right here. Then finally, after the 382 becomes support, it does make it to the 50%. It spends a bunch of weeks. These are 8-hour candlesticks. It spends a bunch of sessions arguing around the 50% level, just long enough for price to get back on top of my moving average 75 here, and then turn it from resistance, oscillation to support, really support with a doji kind of there. This one's just kind of hanging out in space. We got a quick run back to test out the Ichimoku conversion line, and we're up again on top of the moving average 75, and then it's support after that. And then we just start following the conversion line of the 8-hour Ichimoku cloud, and it goes up through the 618, oscillates there for a little bit, comes back down sort of halfway between 618 and the 50%, gets back on top of the 618, and then boom, we get the gap up that was never filled, gaps up to right to the 702. And then from the 702 through the 786, it hangs out sideways on the 786 and then tries for the 886, can't do it, sends it all the way back down to the 702 again. Tries again, this time it hits the 886, sends it back down, but not as deep. Now the 786 is support, as is the Ichimoku baseline. We get back on the conversion line, back off on the 886, and we spend a bunch of time on the 886. If you get really close in here, that probably looks like an inverse head and shoulders. And then we get halfway to 100%, and then it goes back to the 886, and oh my gosh, this was just torture here, right? All these sessions where the SPY just seemed to go sideways. But you guys already know the story from when Kat talks about these things. It's the Bollinger Band is just getting a chance to, after running a little hot, it just kind of squeezes for a while. It probably looks more impressive on a bigger time span. Anyway, so here we go, rising back up, and then so that's this 100% fib. Then you go back here, and then these two circles from this low to this first high. That was the 886 on this side. We'll just call it 100% on this side. And now you can see how from the right side, it did 382 to the 100, back to the 702, got on top of the 100% fib on the right. This is still a retrace fib. It's just a smaller degree one. And it tries to get to the 141 right here. It wicks to the 127.2, can't get high enough, so it drops back down to the 886 again. Can't get to the 127 this time, so it drops down to the 786. And then finally, that's enough for it to build into momentum to get through the 127, and now we're on our way to the 1414. So I would argue that the SPY is going to make a new high, maybe tomorrow, but it's going to stop at this 141, that's 608.66, and then probably have to retest. See, maybe like when Kat talks about engulfing candles, maybe it's going to retest this line right here, which was, it's on the right hand side. Oh, what is this thing? Is that one of my? That's a fib retracement. Oh, it's a 50% between what and what? Forgive me. Oh, that's a retracement for something that hasn't happened yet. This is in the future. I'm sorry. I was looking into the future when we're tracing back down from 667.64. So anyway, 1414 will be resistance at 608.66 tomorrow. Maybe we drop back to what was gonna be the 50% level at 601.92, and then it goes on. Wave 5 of this goes to the larger degree 1.4. Remember the 141. Remember we're looking at this one here from this blue dot here, 481.80 back to the previous all-time high of 613.23, and then it's 127.2 and 141.4 are up here, And that's where we're going next. We're going to this 141 at 667.64. Then we're going to get an ABC retrace, or I don't know, maybe another running flat. Running flats seem to make sense for the SPY, actually, because when we do get in these situations, you look at the SPY and it doesn't really always do 3 big waves back. I mean, here in 2022 to 2023, it sure did. That was actually like 5 waves down here. But yeah, I don't know. I just thought it was an interesting pattern. Then I started playing with these forecasting hyperbolic waves. The forecast. That's what these are. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. And look how cool this is. So from where I started, let's see, from this low to this high, 1414. What I was trying to do was I was just trying to find a significant low to forecast this through. So it's just passing through this low. And then by starting here, I pass through this point here, and I know how high it's got to go. And that gives me this point in time here on November 20th at 4 a.m. Thursday, November 20th. Maybe it'll be a Friday instead of a Thursday. Anyway, I'm not sure that'll be accurate because the market always finds ways to delay stuff, but it looks pretty good. And you know what's really cool is just look at this shape. Look at this shape on my screen right here. So it does sort of this, my water glass is in the way, this half moon shape. And it doesn't just seem perfectly symmetrical this way? Like a leaf. And look, so it just kind of did this part of the envelope, couldn't go higher, drops down to the bottom of it, and then follows the parabola the other way. So it's like it follows this curve, drops, follows this curve. Anyway, I just thought that was really pretty, and I knew that you chart nerds would orgasm over it like I did.
Yeah, it looks like.
And then I did the same. Yeah, and I grabbed the same. This is exactly the same forecasting parabola, and I just pulled it from here. I pulled it down to here to see where it lands. It lands right next to the almost the 100% all-time high here, with just a little space. And I said, well, what if I do it the other way? I just took that same parabola and I dropped it down here at the pandemic start, March 20th, and it comes up to, oh, look right here, that previous all-time high. So again, this is sort of an argument that maybe sometimes what you get is a 200% move, where we go from this to here, that's 100%, and then you just grab it and you throw it on top of that, and you get another. Oh wait, that doesn't work anymore. Never mind. Sorry. Well, I don't know. It's an offset, right? It's like it's a what do you call it? What did I just say? A measured move. It's a measured move, but in the up direction. So 100%, the corrective wave, and then another 100% move, a corrective wave, and then another 100% move. Oh, so that would be kind of like this, maybe. Where are those stacked up? This one has to. Oh no, I have to do this from down here. Anyway, that's enough of that. I got excited playing with this, and I wanted to show you guys, and I want to show everyone out there in the audience just how well these retracement fibs work at predicting from a significant low back to a previous high. You have to look at it on the left side. You go from the significant low back to the highest high on the left side, and then it gives you projections for where it wants to go in the future. All right, back to you, Matt or Kat.
Yeah, thanks for showing us these parabola. I think it makes sense in terms of like cycles. It really illustrates them very well. Do you have a bullfrog chart? I was asking about bullfrog.
Bullfrog? Yeah, it's waiting for news that they have, paying customers, right? They need a revenue stream. And so in the meantime, they're just kind of stuck. This is the 2-week chart. It's just sort of in this. It found support here at $1.23, and I don't know. I'm just waiting. I'm waiting for it. The thing I liked about Bullfrog, besides the science behind it, behind the the math, the AI, and all that. It's just that it has a very low flow of shares. He even did a little bit of a dilution, not a big one, but it still has a very low number of available shares. So as soon as both any of these shares come into demand, the price runs up really fast. You can see right here, right here, right here. This isn't like a blow off top so much. I mean, it kind of is, but it kind of isn't. Like it really, the shares just came really under big demand, and then but people got tired of the same old news, the same old story catalysts aren't the same as something's by saying, oh, we've got a check and now we've got this much revenue. They're still in, negative revenue for right now. They don't spend a lot of money. They're pretty much set for, but they need to start showing some profit. And that's what we're just waiting for. And in fact, I'm scheduled to talk with the CEO Vin Singh again next week on Tuesday, I think. Yeah, and he's going to talk about his latest. Yeah, he's going to talk about his latest partnership. I think there's like an EU. I can't remember. Over there in Europe, there's a whole. It's like a service that connects AI with pharmaceuticals. So maybe it'll help them generate some revenue. So there you go. I don't have anything to tell you about Bullfrog other than it's just waiting for a catalyst that says, oh yeah, we are making money. And then as soon as stocks come in demand, it'll bring volume, and then we can start building some lovely Fibonacci extensions on the right. I didn't even think about doing the whole chart here. I kind of want to do from here to here.
All right. Well, I mean, yeah, it's Matt. Are you there?
Where am I?
It wants to go to 1293.
You were saying you were gonna say something when I was mentioning about the QQQ going through like an all-time high scenario. Do you have thoughts about whether or not the market's gonna break through, or any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I can pull up my chart. Let me just get it ready. The QQQ. So I think let me just take off all the indicators, Kat. Take them all off.
Jeez.
Take them off.
Oh man.
There's a button for that.
Yeah, I know. Okay. Come on, iTunes. Remember iTunes. Come on.
They don't call it iTunes anymore, Dad.
Yeah, here's my QQQ.
We're giving
it's blast off time. I think it is, right? I think since basically back here in 2022, I think I just did this chart. I think the daily chart actually makes more sense, so you can just visualize it better. How that 45-degree angle is just a beautiful, 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 beautiful support. And it just flipped it back to support recently. So it was a resistance for a while back in May and even early June. But then it broke out and it back tested just yesterday and the day before. And now it made a higher high. So this is technically a break of structure to the upside, and it's going to probably go into all-time highs. And where is it going to go? Well, probably right up here. Oh, wait. I need my big arrow. I got to get my big arrow here. Yeah, it's going to go here.
Woohoo! There we go. That's nice.
I think 605 is in store for the QQQ. 606. Because this 45-degree angle is proving historically that it's a massive, massive, massive support zone. And it wants to hold. So even if it does go back down to the 529, 530, it doesn't matter. This chart wants to be a lot more bullish, and it wants to go to the moon combined with everything else.
I know. Hey, Matt, do this real quick. Just kind of like take a drawing tool or mark up on your chart, and then go 24, where it kind of has that peak around $510.
Okay. Let's see.
Or no, I'm sorry. Just go to your middle line.
Like right here, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Kind of measure from there, and then down, and then then go down to the 440, right where you were just a second ago.
Like a fib?
Well,
yeah,
like
that.
Oh, look at that. That is a good fib too. Look at that. It's breaking above the 1.414. Look at that tracker. You're a genius. 536.67. That's amazing. Yeah. So there we go.
Well, and then the thing is too, like, you know, it drops down to in April of this April 7th, it drops down to that negative 0.27.
Mm-hmm.
So now I would argue that price wants to go as high on top of your aqua colored horizontal line at 486 or whatever it is. So if you measure the distance from 401 to 486.
So you're thinking it's going to be a measured move, basically, is what you're
saying. Yes.
Right?
Now take that and I'll just stack it on top of the line. And that's how high it wants to at least go that high.
Yeah. So 575?
Yeah, that market symmetry.
Yeah. Man, that's going to make a lot of
the whole reason
angry.
why it dove below your is that the 45 or is that the next angle above the 45?
This is the 45. Like, and 45. So this is so much confluenced right now with that 1.404 that I just added onto there. Like, it broke out, it gapped up above it. Like literally did it open above that today too? Yeah, it literally opened up the day above it too, and that is basically a beautiful, beautiful chart. But people are going to say, "Oh my God, there's a daily gap right here. It's going to have to close it." Well, it doesn't matter because if it does, guess what? The 45-degree angle is right there to catch it. So this is just proof in my eyes that the bears are screwed and things are going to be delicious, right? But whether or not it needs to back test lower levels, that's fine. Yeah. So, but again, we're being really bullish at double tops, right? We're being or triple tops. We're being really bullish up here.
Yeah, the whole reason why it dropped that low was so that it could generate the energy to get over that horizontal line and get that far over the top of your 45-degree angle. So, yeah, that's the way I look at it.
What about you, Kat?
I mean, I'm seeing the same thing. I don't really have much to add. The only thing I'm wondering is whether or not whenever it gets to all-time high, whether or not you're going to end up having some, resistance right around the area anyway. Like, there's nothing to be bearish about in terms of the monthly because we backtest the baseline on the monthly and then we reclaim the conversion line. We know it's going to go higher. There's really no mystery there. So the other thing too is it also reclaimed the 20-month moving average and it's upsloping, so it's going higher here. I also think it's going to be a very beautiful bull market moving forward because usually for bull market, QQQ continues to outperform. Whoa, what is this?
Oh, I want to buy that chart.
Let's try something else here. Let's see if whoa, okay, that's not working for me today. Why is that? What is going on? Is my spread not working? All right, I'm going to do something else here. I'm going to do SPX over NDX, but NDX over SPX. I think that will work. Yeah, that'll work. There's a very, very much of a change of character. Basically, if the NASDAQ is more bullish than the SPY or S&P 500, you have a bull market. This is bull market behavior. We've been in a secular bull market for like over a couple decades now. And we had this big giant scare in 2022 where NASDAQ dropped like 38% and the S&P 500 dropped like 26%. So obviously we underperformed here with the NASDAQ, but then that really picked up in a big way. And right now it's just been going sideways here for about 2 years, consolidating. And S&P 500 and NASDAQ has been doing about the same. But I think there's a change of character here because we have Bollinger and squeeze and now we have Bollinger and expansion. QQ is going to keep a lot higher. I think NASDAQ's going to end up running moving forward. And that's pretty typical bull market behavior. If you're into the whole inverted head and shoulder continuation pattern, whatever you call it, I mean, this is like a perfect example for that. So there's really nothing here to get bearish about. It also came back down and touched the bottom of the cloud over here, bounced back above, and reclaiming the conversion. It looks like it just wants to keep going higher from here. So trends bullish. There's really nothing to get worried about here on the market, at least for the next 6 to 12 months, as far as I can see. This big giant dip that we've had was a blessing in disguise because it held all the support levels that you can see, and if you also look at the 2-week, it's absolutely beautiful. Like, it touched the cloud right there, almost like exactly, and then it bounced back above the conversion base and it just shot right up above, right? The only thing I get worried is a little bit too far overextended, but sometimes you just stay overextended for a while and it didn't really care, And you see how COVID did the same thing. It just touched the bottom. They just touched the cloud right there at that spot. That's what COVID did, right, on the 2-week chart here. And it just shot up to the moon. Once the baseline and conversion lines being reclaimed. Whereas there's a different character here during this drawdown 2022. It didn't really touch the cloud. Whenever it did, it just ended up breaking down underneath the cloud and got, bearish backtest of the cloud and got rejected. This is a very, very different behavior. I think we're getting ready to run up. Is it going to be kind of like bam, 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 bam? I don't know. But it's pretty decent. Same thing happened here too in 2018 during the last time when there was a lot of scare of the terrorists. It touched the cloud here almost perfectly and just shot right up. So I think that we're kind of showing some pretty similar behavior. There might be some additional juice here to kind of push up above, but we might be at a zone that we might need to consolidate sideways over for a little bit, cool this down here before going up higher. So yeah, I see that we're probably entering a zone where we need to cool down, but we will see what happens. It doesn't seem like it wants to cool down though, because right now, if the week closed the way it does right now, you got a bullish engulfing candle. So I don't know.
Well, plus that gap up I showed you on my chart with above that 1.414. I mean, this has all the stuff written inside of it that it just wants to continue higher, just like COVID.
Yeah, I think this is one of those that really got a lot of people sidelined, and they're going to make you hate the market by going up higher.
Yeah, like during COVID, I was expecting a back test at some point, but it just kept running. Kept running.
Yeah, insane. It went all the way up here, and it just decided to go up higher again. I remember how many people are scared up here too. But anyway, I think we got some ways to go. I just don't know when it's going to end up consolidating sideways. I mean, here would be a reasonable area to do that, but because it's reasonable, you might not end up doing it. So, woo! Anything else you guys want to talk about?
Well, we got a lot of chart requests, but I think Bitcoin, since it's breaking above 106,
talk about Bitcoin.
Let's switch.
I was just going to say, my crow says there's some breaking news.
Your crow says there's breaking news. Well, I don't believe your crow. Does it speak good English?
Is your crow a name?
Yeah, Bitcoin
is your crow a name?
Bitcoin is up into my 702 now.
Oh, Tracker, do you still have a delay on your mic?
I think you do, yeah.
I think you still have a lot of delay, man.
Oh, do I?
Yeah. What happened? What happened to the fund? I think we got $135 out of it.
I got some more. One of my other longtime patrons gave me a very generous amount of money to fix my internet, and I bought a new mesh network for inside my house. I just have to set it up.
Okay.
I haven't set it up yet.
All right. So the lag is no longer going to be lag, but it's still lagging. But it's gonna wait. I don't know where I'm going with this. But anyway. Yeah, but yeah, I hope the crow is not. I hope the crow is not a nickname for your privates. But anyway, continue.
But yeah, I was actually gonna.
That's the nickname for your privates.
Show my Bitcoin chart here, and I actually wanted to show like the total 2, total 3, and others too, just to show you what I'm seeing in all this. So Bitcoin quickly reclaimed the 105.5. And I've been showing that for a while.
So quickly.
Yeah, so quickly. V bottom out of there and quickly recovered it. So previous resistance still is support. It's just got a V bottom down there. And going on my weekly chart, linear scale, we can see that it did backtest through the 102 and touch the arc up here. So we're almost ready to break out, but not quite. We got to get above that 110.5, maybe 111,000 to get a lot more bullish. But Bitcoin is back in the same range as before, just like nothing happened at all. And I want to just bring up total 2, total 3, and others, just so you can see my linear scale charts here develop. And here we are. It's getting back above the 45-degree angle and the blue level. This is total 2. This is basically a very symmetrical chart that maybe it might spend a little bit of time, some weeks inside here before it's ready to break out again. And it's a bullish chart, right? Nothing was broken. It's a higher low as well. You can look at my total 3 chart too as well. It just did a breakout of the arc and back tested the orange level. Previous resistance, flipped to support for the second time. This is a very bullish back test. I don't have anything bearish to say about total 3. Others also just went back down to back test the arc there. It's getting right back to the orange level again. So it's almost ready to consolidate a little bit more and go higher. So essentially, also total, it just back tested the arc too. This is like one of the most bullish charts I've ever seen. And we were watching this kind of live during the Sunday show, Kat and Luca. We're just watching it basically back test, and it finally did. And then now I think it's time to go. I honestly think it's time for the total crypto market cap to go a lot higher and just catch everybody off guard. And this is what Coinbase is telling us too. I think it's just telling us that altcoins are ready. And this total chart, if you're looking at this total chart, it's basically showing altcoins and everything else, including Bitcoin, they're ready to continue their journey higher to the 4 trillion, to the 5 trillion, maybe even the next level to the 7 or 8 trillion. It's just gonna go. Yeah, it's just. I just cannot be bearish on crypto now, and people are expecting things to get rejected because now they're going right back to where they were before they broke down, and it's kind of like acting as a little bit of a resistance now. So I think people are like maybe skeptical still, but that's a perfect ingredient for things to just rocket when people are still skeptical.
I think if you can horn down to the little details here and which altcoin, things like that, but ultimately I think they're all probably going to fly.
Yeah.
You know, even the laggy ones, eventually they'll come back around. They're going to fly more, and they're going to play catch up. So I don't know which one's going to fly off the gate first. I guess that's the biggest question.
I don't even think it matters.
But,
like we can go to Ethereum too. Like it's almost ready to flip that ARC to support. It's ready. Yeah. But yeah, I don't think it matters. Like when we went on the live stream on Sunday on the monthly and the high time frame, like almost all of these charts, they look very good. It's really hard to find a chart that is not attractive on the monthly basis. Like really, really hard. So
well, you reject all the bad cryptos anyway already.
Well, not really. I still have some crappy ones on there. Like there's some terrible ones on here. Whereas like A0, this is something that is probably not. Well, you never know. You never know. You've seen crazier things, right? It could just go to 0 or it could go to the moon. But yeah, this is probably one of the worst charts out there.
That one reminds me of SRM. Remember Serum?
Yeah, it's just terrible. But no, honestly, every chart is looking so delicious. And XRP did a perfect back test of the ARC here. It's ready to go higher. Like so many things are amazingly amazing. Yeah, that's right. I said it. So yeah, it's just ready. Just ready.
Yes. Let's go. All
right.
That was totally very, very, yeah, there was some very gushy kind of sound that Tracker just had.
So yes, Angel, we are bullicious. Yes, the market is bullicious.
Mm-hmm. Well,
hey, can you throw it back to me just a second? I won't take too long. I just want to show you. I want to help the audience visualize what you guys were talking about earlier with the QQQ, and I did it with the little bars thing here. So I'm just going to Control Y this. All I did was I just copied, this section right here from the pandemic drop, and then how far it went, and then I took it and I moved it over here, and then I just resized it so that it kind of matches the same size as what we've got here, right? So this is what we're talking about. If we get a repeat of this, it could look like this, guys. It could look like this. So there you go, QQQ from 538 to, up in the 800s or something. This might be a little exaggerated, but not much. There you go. So that's what when Matt and Kat and I were just getting excited about it. That's what we were seeing. Is that right there? Just copy paste this to here. All right, and then I will do a quick EOSE. They were asking about EOSE. Here's SOXL. SOXL has hit my 1414. I told you that. Oh, and then Bitcoin. The crow went off because look, price went right back into the 702 here. So once it gets into the blue zone, I think it's going to fight its way up all the way to 109.877, the 886. Then it's going to come back. I don't know if it'll come all the way back or if it'll come like halfway back. One of these two will happen. It probably if it can't get back over the 886 the second time, and then goes to 786, and it can't get back to the 141, then I'll send it back down to the 702 again. And yeah, I'm just looking for Bitcoin to go to this large degree 141 on the left, 120,000 for this part of the cycle. That's just like wave 3 or whatnot. And then wave 5 of this cycle goes, it's not on this chart, it's a different chart, sorry. About 180,000 to 196,000, maybe even 206. Anyway, that's Bitcoin. I said I'd do EOSE. Which one am I going to do on? I'll do it on this one. Oh, no, I can't do it on that one. I got to do it on, I don't want to do it on that one. This one. If I'm breaking up here, it's because I'm loading charts. And as I load the charts, as the data comes in, that's when my audio usually drops. Here's EOSE. So after I was expecting a really nice 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, and they had that, they fired the CFO, and then I guess they fired the CFO because he didn't want them to do the stock offering, which they did anyway. And then price came all the way back down from almost the 764 all the way down to 11.4 on my fib extensions here on the right. So I'm looking for it to still do. So here's the 100%, all the way down here from 212 to 736 is 100% move. I'm looking for it eventually to get back to the 141 up here. And in fact, go through it, turn to support, maybe test back to the previous. It doesn't do that here, does it? I guess if it did 1, 2, 3, 6, this 764 move, test back to the previous high. And if it doesn't do that, it's just because it's like super crazy bullish. And that's my 764, 382, 1382. Whoops. And the 1382 gives you like this really nice space between the wave 4 bottom and the wave 1 top. Anyway, yeah. So EOSE, it's going to be fine. You can see it's already recovering pretty quickly from all the damage. Up, down, up higher, down higher. It's oscillating around this moving average 300. So yeah, it's going to get just like I just showed you the Bitcoin chart where it got to the 702. You'll see EOSE get to 580. It'll try to argue its way up to 886, then back down either the 624 or 580, and then it can bust out, make a new higher high over 100%, over 736, then go on to 953 to 879. I haven't broken it down, in the middle here, but just you're okay with EOSE. It's going to be fine from here. It's not going to 0. It's not even going to 307. All right, there. That was to answer that person's chart request.
All right, I'm going to take the next 20 minutes.
Please go ahead.
Pass it over to me, Matt.
Yes, sir.
COINTALES.
Are we there?
We're getting there.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm going to go through about 10 tickers here, try keeping it down to about 15, 20 minutes or so. Dogecoin monthly chart. What you're seeing here is there's a 20-month moving average here. Sometimes you have a little bit of a monthly close is a little bit below the 20. That kind of freak you out here a little bit. Kind of happened over here. It was a little bit below that, and then over here it was a little bit below that. And next thing you know, the big giant move happened after that. I see some similarities between this area over here compared to this area over here. It's just a little bit of a bigger version of that over here. Because why? Currently we have about 7 inside candles. This big giant candle over here. All of these are being engulfed by this November 2024 candle. This thing basically just consolidating sideways over here, trying to find some support here, 20-month moving average before going up higher. Last time that happened was here. You have a little bit of rising 3 pattern over here, where these 3 are inside candles, that green candle over here. Next thing you know, it went boom, boom down. We might be close here. I just wonder whether or not we're getting. I think we're getting pretty close here. I see a lot of similarities between these two. Now, I'm not going to go crazy in terms of target, things like that. Last time, I'm going to show this, just the targets here real quick. Last time, it went all the way to the 2.272 log fib here, which is just absolutely insane amount of gains. Are we going to do that this time and during this cycle? I don't think so, because if we're going to do that, you're talking about a $3 trillion market cap going all the way up to $23. I think that's insane. I don't think it's going to happen. I think it's probably going to maybe somewhere around like anywhere from 1.272 to 1.618, which is anywhere from $1.50 to $4 is kind of what I'm thinking. But it's been forming higher highs and higher lows, and a lot of people are extremely bitter about Dogecoin here, which makes me think that we're going to go to the moon. That was the first one I wanted to talk about. A lot of you people are really, really scared about hymns. To me, I think I did a video for Danny's Patreon last time. I'm not going to show everything here, but as far as I can tell, I'm not even going to show any other levels here. As long as the month closes above the monthly conversion line, which currently is at $44.52, it is still a bullish chart. Bear market doesn't start if you're able to hold the conversion line on a monthly. That's just not generally just not how it happens. Have we had these kind of scares before when HIMs go down like, 30, 40, 50%. Yes, we did. We just recently had the price going all the way from the 70s over down to like 20s. And, right now we have some news here.
Oh gosh, where HIMs didn't fall back, half of its gains.
Yeah. So the way I see it too, I was also talking a little bit about this over at on Denny's Patreon last night too. Usually when you have a cup and handle, the retracement generally happens. Let me see here. The retracement generally happens to maybe about like either 0.32 or 0.5. It hit the 0.5 almost perfectly, right? Sometimes let's go a little bit lower, 0.618, which is going to be around $36.68. But it's holding 0.5 here perfectly. This, as far as I'm concerned, this is still a cup. It is still a handle that is required for some further bullish continuation. But a lot of people are getting scared over here because of the news, because of narratives and things like that. It is still about the Ichimoku cloud. It's not bearish. If it breaks down below like the mid 30s, then I'll start be like, But if it ends up closing a month about $44.50, I'm not really that worried about HIMs. Tesla. You guys haven't talked about Tesla yet. I can't believe it. We're trying to break above the 0.886. The 0.86 is a very, very important level. Once you break about 0.86, then it's probably party time, but it's not time to be entirely too bullish right here at resistance, because you might end up getting stuck here in a range for a little bit longer before you're able to really truly break through. The other thing to also look and see how come it's getting stuck in a range, look at Ichimoku. It's stuck between conversion and baseline over here. It's stuck here for a very long time. Look at it weekly here. We just got rejected here at the top of the Ichimoku cloud. It's still stuck in the cloud until further notice. One positive thing is we are starting to reclaim the baseline. Baseline is shooting down, and the conversion line is shooting up here. At some point, they're going to end up having a very, very nicey, kissy over here. It's going to be bullish cross, and it's probably going to push the price up higher eventually. But you still have a cloud resistance up here all the way up to like the 370s, 380s. There's still resistance up here above. I think we might end up consolidating sideways over here for a little bit longer. But if it ends up break about that range, then I think we go. I'm not going to say it. I think we go to okay. It's in terms of what the targets are. I have higher targets obviously, but if you do these kinds of FIB sequences, we break about the 0.86 for good. I think that some of these targets up here, 600, 740, and 987 are entirely possible. That's why I think about Tesla. But we're at resistance, and we're probably going to be a little bit more boring here for a little bit. We got a stock here called QS. We had the market pop up here. I think last time I checked, the market pop went all the way up to the 20-month moving average resistance up here around around $5.5. They report good earnings. It went up 30% right into resistance. I've been burned by this. I've actually I think it exists somewhere around here. I've been burned by this because every single time when I thought it was going to break about the 20-month moving average, it ends up getting rejected here by these wicks. With that said, I think that there is a lot of bullish momentum that's being built up probably. I just don't know when it's going to end up reversing. I think accumulating here is probably going to be decent risk reward, but it's going back to resistance. So you might need a little bit more time until you really break about resistance, maybe even do a back test around 5.5 before I'm really convinced, about QS here at this particular moment in time. That's kind of how I view it, which I think is good to always have a little bit more of a cautious kind of view here. Alibaba is bullish. We know why, because it's just basically a big giant double bottom, Adam and Eve, break above here. You even have a handle here for the Eve bottom. It's beautiful, right? Break above back test here at the exact breakout level. Did a broke back here. So what's going to happen next? Did the broke back happen on low volume? It did, right? So all of these things are very, very promising. It looks like we're holding a very, very good zone over here. So I think the next thing we're going to do is probably end up trying to re-challenge the Ichimoku cloud resistance up here above. You can see that currently is trying to hold on to the conversion line. It's trying to use the conversion line to kind of flick it into the cloud. And once we really truly break inside the cloud, then party boom boom time happens, right? But we still haven't really had that party boom boom time yet. The other resistance to see look at how beautiful these like log fibs are. Like 0.382 is exactly what Adam and Eve, double bottom is at. Breakout back test is 0.382. Holding so far, also holding the conversion line. We're stuck in range between conversion and between the cloud. Once we break in the cloud, I think we're going to have enough energy to push to 0.5 this time and go up into higher level. The reason why I think last time we didn't really break through is because the Bollinger Band simply just hasn't expanded long enough yet. On the monthly, right now it has, so it's going to allow price to really push through and go higher. I think we're getting pretty ready pretty soon. That's Alibaba. ZETA is a stock that's getting a lot more attention. To me, I think it's okay. You got a bullish engulfing candle over here. It doesn't look bad. If I look at the 20 moving average, I still think it's a little bit under resistance here, but you got a bullish engulfing candle, so you might end up breaking above. It's also positive sloping, so you might end up just reclaiming that from resistance to support, but I'm just not seeing enough evidence for me to be super bullish about it yet. It is showing some pretty decent repairment over here. You can see how it is trying to find the conversion line where support, but it's still stuck in range. To me, I still think that this is a decent chart, but it's not something that I necessarily want to go in. I'm probably going to end up just sitting out and kind of watch the silent, because there's a lot of damage that's been done during this downward move here. It's going to take time for it to repair, and to me, I don't really see that big of a hurry. Although you're going to have some crazy moves up in here, but you still have a lot of resistance here that you need to break through, right? Even if you break all the way up to the upper Bollinger Band here, it's probably going to get rejected here. The 20-week moving average is still negative sloping here, so we don't have solid ground to stand on. I think it would be a lot more comfortable if we end up come back test it using support, flip the 20-week moving average to a little bit more flat here before going up higher. I think that would be a lot better entry here as far as I'm concerned. ABCL is resistance. You're at upper Bollinger Band on the weekly here. You're also at the 0.136 here, which is a pretty decent resistance and support level. You have a support level here turning resistance here, so that might still take a little bit longer to kind of break above. You are also entering the Ichimoku cloud, which is promising here on the weekly, but sometimes you look at the monthly here, beautiful bullish engulfing candle. The issue with these kinds of charts, and I'm going to show it here, the issue with this kind of chart, I really need to see it reclaim a 20-month moving average here convincingly before I can even really get into it. Having a bullish engulfing candle here is nice. I just need to see it reclaiming that before I really believe that this downtrend here is over, because it's just been very brutal. But this is the first bullish engulfing candle that's engulfed the last whole year of price action. So maybe this is to reclaim the 0.136. Actually, that's not even. It went lower already, guys. It went lower already. So that fit level is not even relevant anymore. It'd be nice for it to really break through the 20-month moving average and then back test it, and then I'll be a lot more comfortable with something like that. That's generally how I look at it. APP at 11 is a 11 chart. I'm going to turn off my my Gantt chart here. It's been parabolic. It's been cooling down up here. Are we worried that this is distribution? Are we at the top here? Should we be scared? Probably not, because we've got a beautiful morning star over here. Most likely going to have some further bullish continuation here. But I think the issue when you're looking at a chart like this is it's been going up for a very long time, and you have a lot of people taking profits, right? And that's why you have to go sideways over here to wait for it to touch a cloud here, depending on how it reacts to the Ichimoku cloud on the weekly. That would dictate what now you're still underneath a little mystery over here, because it's trying to reclaim the 20-week moving average here. I think it will end up going up higher. I just don't know if it's going to make a monster move like it did before. That's the issue, because there's a lot of money, a lot of gains have already been made. It probably end up continuing up higher, but I just don't know whether or not it's going to do this crazy $10 to $500 move anymore. I just don't, that's generally how I look at these charts. If you're looking at the GAN over here, you have broken multiple arcs up here. You finally get rejected this arc over here, right? You have rejections number 1 and 2. You broke through this arc over here like butter. I don't think you're going to do that over here at this arc. You're probably going to end up needing a little bit more energy here before breaking out. So I'm thinking probably going to need some time to really, truly do anything substantial here. I have 2 more charts I want to show, and then I'm going to pass it back to you guys. One is AMD. People always ask about AMD. What's AMD doing? Well, it's right at resistance levels around here. You can see that. I'm going to put up some levels over here about to enter the, you're about to hit the bottom of the weekly Ichimoku cloud. I usually don't think that when it gets up there, it's going to just push through the first time. You're probably going to get rejected here. For us, we have very big move all the way from $76 all the way up to 140, 138. We haven't really had that higher low yet. So I think at some point, you're going to get hitting some pretty hard rejection. With that said, if the QQQ just keeps going up, it might just push for the cloud and just keep going a lot higher. I mean, it's a V-shaped recovery. It can do whatever it wants to do. But I just see the weekly cloud here being resistance. On the monthly, it has convincingly breaking above the conversion. It's also got a model Bowser candle over here. So it does favor further bullish continuation, but it is also hitting resistance up here pretty soon, right? A bearish back test of the 20-month moving average, kind of like it did over here. I don't think it's going to go through the first time. It might get rejected, try to find some support down below, and then push through. So be a little bit more careful when we're at resistance, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Do I think we bottom? I think we bottom. I mean, it touched the lower Bollinger Band here. It touched the Ichimoku cloud here, and it's bounced off it very beautifully. So last but not least, there's a question about whether or not CleanSpark can go back to $15. My answer to you is probably, if you're looking at the weekly over here, just look at the, well, not the Ichimoku. I think the Bollinger Band is going to give you a better tail over here. It's reclaiming the 20-week moving average. And today is only Tuesday, so the weekly candle is not closed yet, but it's got a little bit of bullish engulfing candle here. It looks like it wants to repair the chart. It looks like it really wants to claim the 20-week moving average over here back into support. And it looks like Bollinger Band here is starting to squeeze, so maybe a more measured move is going to happen. We're not going to go to $15 right away. It's probably, if this ends up doing a good move, it's probably going to end up going back to like $12. You're going to need some stepwise, repairment of this chart. I don't think it's going to go to the moon right just yet. But I think $12 is probably going to be like, maybe 12 or 13 is going to be like a natural area for it to go to. And I still think that this is going to end up being closing the month inside the monthly Ichimoku cloud, which is a positive development because we really haven't had that happening until we got, since we got rejected here in March of 2024. Since then, it's just been rejected here by the cloud for about like 15, 16 months. Right now, we actually just kind of went sideways and went inside. So I think this is a positive thing. It might just take time for it to do something here. Ultimately, I think a big target for it to really try the challenge, and you can see how it reclaimed the 0.5, which is great. The next big target is going to be 0.618. Once it breaks above 0.618, I think the really, really big target is already 0.76, which is the top Ichimoku cloud, as well as a very, very important fib level where we got rejected here last time. Once we push through that, then all-time high stuff, fun stuff happens. But until we do that, one level at a time, I really want to see how it reacts at 0.618, right at the conversion line over here, as well as trying to see how it reacts at 0.76, before I'm really able to be convinced that this is going to end up going higher than this rejection over here. Back to you guys.
All right. Did we cover QS though? Did you have any QS thoughts?
I talked about it. Yeah, I think that QS. I'm not
talked about how he gets disappointed.
Yeah, I'm not convinced.
He gets disappointed every time it comes back to the 21 SMA.
Yeah, I'm not convinced because after market, it was right up at like 5.5, which is right where the 20-month moving average is at. Unless if it breaks above, back test it and go higher. Like I like to, if I see the break above and back test, then I'll be a lot more confident, right?
Oh, but they're asking about your Fartcoin now. Come on now.
But I'm supposed to be on like sabbatical away from Fartcoin. All right.
Oh, well. Matt 的声音很好听啊！哦，谢谢啊。
The way I see Fartcoin is that Fartcoin is an extremely bullish chart, and I'm not saying that lightly. I'm saying that because I don't really own that much Fartcoin. I just think it's fun to talk about. All I really have to say, I'm going to show you a few things. I did show all these things at like Matsby's Telegram. So if you guys are interested, on my most recent Fartcoin updates, I'm no longer going to do it on next order. Basically break through the Bullion support band and back tested it, and the Bullion support band looks bullish. Beautiful back test here. I think that when you have a resistance turn support, it's generally a good thing. The other thing too, I do have a little bit of a daily Gann chart here to show, and how beautiful this Gann symmetry is. It's finding support at a Teresa bottom right here at the horizontal Gann level. After it pushes through multiple arcs up here, I think it's going to gravitate up to this arc over here and see what I'm going to break through and go higher. I also think that there's also a lot of really, I guess I can draw this back later. I guess you can see some pretty beautiful fib levels being hit too, right? Like it bounced right off of 0.618. And it's going to go, it looks like it wants to go back up higher. There are more price history if you look at other tickers, I guess, or whatever. Like I don't even know how you say that. Other history or whatever. You can actually get other higher, longer time frame history, if you will. So since the beginning of price, it pushes to this previous all-time high over here, and since then it's just been oscillating between 0.76 and 0.86. It found support perfectly here at 0.786. It flipped this resistance level. As long as this holds, I think Fartcoin is going to fart to the moon. It's a little bit of a shallow correction. I always get a little bit worried about that, but it looks like it's holding. It's finding some pretty solid ground here. It looks like it wants to stump on the ground. It looks like it wants to fart up there. So anyway, I'm done.
Anyway, Matt, you got to show my screen for a second. I want you guys to know that there is a game on Roblox called Fart Simulator. It's hilarious. When my son was like 6. He got me to play it with him. He's like 11 now. It's so addictive. You're this guy here, and you press a key to fart, and then the more powerful your fart is, the higher you can go. And so you fart up into like these floating islands above to collect coins. Then you come back down, you spend your coins to buy more powerful food that gives you more powerful farts. So you can float higher to higher islands to get more money to come down and buy even better food so that you can fart even higher and go to even higher islands, and so on and so on. It's called Fart Simulator on Roblox.
Amazing.
Very nice.
Roblox has been a sleeper too, man. It's just been, nobody's talking about it, and boom, $100.
It's ripping. Yeah, it's ripping up.
Yeah, Roblox is great. They've got so much content on there. It's really fun. Here's ZETA. Somebody was asking about ZETA. ZETA has a lot of potential here. I wrote this a couple of days ago, or I guess yesterday. ZETA could be headed here now to the 50% fib, and look, below and behold, it did. It went right to almost to the 1911 and back down here. This is the price I want to buy ZETA at. I want to buy it at this 11.4 at 14.58. So there's your price target, and you can see how it kind of maybe either it hits my moving average 75 on the 1 hour chart earlier at this 1536 and 382, or it goes through that, and then by the time this moving average 300 gets up to 11.4, that's when I'll be able to buy it for 1458. And let me just pull back and show you what this chart really looks like. I mean, it went all the way to let's see, this 100% level, I think, during regular trading hours on October 8th of 2024, 34.13. And that was from a low of $4.08. So here's your 100% move. And then those 141, 127s are right here, 42.30 to 46.57. So it really wants to go up there. And look, it even did this kind of blow off top after it hit 100%. Went back down to, it couldn't touch the 702. It went back up into this blue zone and did a blow off top. It got over the 127.2, but couldn't sustain it. Couldn't get to the 1414, and it sent it back all the way down to this 23.6 here. Here's the 408 where it all started. Got sent all the way back down because it just, it couldn't hold the 50%, went through the 382. But I won't take you through all this. But basically, it takes it back to the 238 to the 236, and now it's just trying to reclaim all these levels again, one step at a time. My Fibonacci extensions suggest it might want to do 618, 236, 1236, which gets it above the 141 projection to the 1618 at 5270. So anyway, long story short, if you bought ZETA now, doesn't matter what it did immediately. If you just could hold on to it, eventually you will get, at least like 220% return on your money. It's like double your money in a quarter. So there you go, ZETA. That's all I wanted to
say. Awesome.
Very nice.
Yeah, I think we got a couple other charts. I mean, I could finish the show if you want to.
I can do trade desk. I
think I had a GAN for TTD as well.
Go for it.
I want to see your GAN for TTD.
Yeah,
I'm looking for a short story. I'm just looking for 122 to 91.83 next. So let's see what you got.
Yeah, so for TTD for my chart here, we're just going to take a look, and it basically backtested the ARC as a resistance. So it recovered inside, so it's just range bound once again, but it nailed the top ARC as a resistance up there at like around, what was it, $80. And now it's coming back down to a range that it could hold, right? We could see the other indicators on there where the Ichimoku and the conversion line is right down below there too at 66.14. So it does have potential to continue the journey higher, but it's got loads of resistance above, starting with 78, then the 85, then the green level up here is going to be a challenge to 108. So I think it's just probably going to spend some time being a boring stock for a while, right? So maybe it can get up to the 80s again, but it might just stay in that zone underneath the cloud, underneath all this, maybe trying to build a base on top of the ARC once again until it's really ready to go higher. So nothing technically was really too damaged at all. Just one thing I want to point out, though, that if it ever does start to break back below this ARC, the blue level never really was back tested since it broke out. So that is a possibility if it were to come to that. So I think that would be my gauge on if the stock wants to really remain bullish or not, is if this stays inside the ARCs. And if it does, then I think it can go higher. But if it doesn't, I think it could even go back to the 20s. So we'll see. We'll see how it develops. But right now, this is still okay, but just stuck under a lot of resistance.
Very nice. Yeah, I can show the TTD chart as well real quick, and I can talk about AA, I suppose. Not to be confused with Alcoholic Anonymous, but yeah, I mean, beautiful morning star pattern over here on a monthly, broke back above the cloud over here, and basically just kind of hanging above the cloud over here. I agree with Matt. It's probably it's stuck in a range between like 90 and I'd say like in the 60s. Look at what happened over here, morning star pattern, and then next thing you know, have all these like inside candles. You didn't think it was going to go down further; it just kept going down further. Touch the top of the cloud over there, right? I mean, something similar might end up happening, so be careful. I'm not going to like jump and try to buy TTD here with 2 pulls, 4 pulls, whatever. This chart over here is AA. I did a quick scan here. There's showing pretty decent market symmetry here. I think it's a resistance. I think it's been consolidating sideways over here, but it did break back test the arc, back test the angle. If it's ever break about resistance higher, if not, you might end up range bound here for a little bit longer and see what happens. I don't think necessarily drop down lower. I think it's already kind of do what it had to do to to figure out what it wants to do next. I don't really see any other moves here. You can see also under resistance over here, the 20-week moving average. On a higher time frame, there's no trend. It's just been going sideways. It did touch the low bullish band here, which is promising, but it needs to reclaim the 20-month moving average here around $34 here before I can really say this is a bullish stock. That's it. That's all I really want to say. I think we hit all of the requests, guys.
Yay! We can leave early now. Yay! We can leave early now.
Yeah. I hear aesthetic, which is kind of ghosty. Ghosty. Yeah. Did we talk about?
Can I just show you?
Talk about. There you go. Yeah. The tracker's got some.
Tracker is too excited right now.
He is so excited tonight.
I don't want the show to end.
Well, you can continue it by yourself while we run away now.
Oh no, I'm not going to do that. That's no fun. Here's SBET. So here's this. It's called a price. I put price gap in quotation marks because you look at it on an 8-hour chart. There's no price gap. There's completely continuous price action through all of this. It's only a quote unquote gap if you go to like a daily chart and then look at it and it's like, oh, well, look, it's like, wait, I've got to turn off Ichimoku. Here, look, it looks like there's a huge gap when you look at it like that, but on the 8-hour chart, there's continuous price action all through this. There's no gap. So anyway, I turn all this stuff back on, and yeah, it didn't hold the 236. I mean, look how far I got. I made these really big so I could differentiate these fibs from these smaller ones. $124.12 was the new all-time high for SBET gaming, or at least the local high. I'm not 100% sure that's the all-time high. And no, it didn't hold the 11.4. I really thought it would. I was hoping it was going to hold this 29.32, go halfway to 11.4, and then anyway, I didn't do that. So we're just kind of stuck down here between. Oh, I put my 0% here. That's interesting. I should put it all the way down there. Where is it? Where is it? Anyway, I think over here it is. No, that's not it. I don't know. If it goes all the way back down to where there isn't quote unquote fills this gap, that's only it's like $6.60. So it's not that far. I drew it's a 24% gap. If it drops 24%. Then everyone's happy and it can go back up again. So anyway, it's like it's Ethereum based, right? They're going to be the MicroStrategy, or formerly known as MicroStrategy, now it's Strategy. but they want to be the strategy of Ethereum, not of Bitcoin. And if Ethereum does all the stuff that you guys are talking about, like Cat and your really cool Ethereum rocket, then this thing could really be worth something. And if it even goes to, let's see, if you go back to the 100% here, 124.12, what if it goes to 141, 172.30? Well, that, my friends, let me see, borrow this here. That is 1,687. It makes it almost it's almost a 10, that's like a 16 bagger, right? So anyway, I've got a ridiculous amount of money riding on SBET right now because I want this. I think that'd be really fun. I'd like to take my $1 million and turn it into $2 million.
Steve.
And turn that into $4 million.
Steve Trecker's
and turn that to $8 million, and then I'll be done. Exactly. Anyway, guys, don't degen into this. I just wanted to show you, these are the things I like to do in my spare time. SBET, it's working on it. It's trying to build support. I don't know. No one else, you guys aren't touching this. You're not saying anything about it.
Well, I mean, I've been eyeing it. This is also something that like Vivian is also very much into. So you guys are SBET buddies.
Tell me your thoughts.
Yeah, you can talk to Vivian about SBET all the time now. It's just every single time we post something, just tag her. I think she would very much appreciate it, and she probably reposts everything that you have. So.
Here,
sure.
I have a final take on it. I have a final take on SBET, and I'm with Kat. I don't touch these kind of things, just because there's still a big gap, right? And it's just a massive breakout, rejection at the 200-week moving average. It's inside the cloud. It's holding the 50-week moving average. It's holding the bottom of the cloud. So yes, if you're looking for an opportunity, this usually is the spot you would probably want to accumulate, right? But then there's a problem of, well, this is 1138 resistance. Then you got the 100 resistance at 1332. Then you got the top of the cloud. So you could probably just be banging back and forth, boom, 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 for a while, a long time, or even trickle down towards the arc, and then months later pass, then it finally closes the gap, and then maybe finally goes up. So I just think being in this position now, it's like sandwiched in between prices so much that I think the $9 to the $13 or $14 range is just probably going to be ping-ponging back and forth for a while, and it's not going to do anything exciting. That's what I think, but I could be wrong. So, and I still see that gap right down there too. And if you go in time, right down here, that's basically September of 2025. It could just be going slowly, bleeding, close the gap, and then go. Right, it could do something like that. So I don't really like to touch these things simply because it already had a massive breakout, and the chart is still not that bullish. Most things are still sloping downwards. It's not even above the cloud yet. If it was like holding the cloud as support, then maybe it'd be a different story, but it's not. It's inside, barely hanging on. So I think it just might be just range bound for a while.
It does.
All right, so maybe I'll just get out of it, and I'll wait for it to go over $14.
I don't know.
And then
what were you going to say, Kat?
No, it does remind me of what happened with GME as well. You had that really bullish move, and then you just kind of gone sideways here for about a whole year and getting everybody bored before it does something. I think it's going to do something soon, but it's been taking GME like a whole year to kind of correct the move that it had. That got everybody to pay attention to it. That's just kind of what it reminds me of. A very, very similar situation, actually, where something's just been an extreme downtrend for a very, very long time. And you had like the very, very bullish candle kind of reverse the trend here even on the monthly, but it's still going to take a long time for it to correct. So that's kind of what I'm thinking here. It might end up boring you.
You talked me out of it.
It might end up boring you. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't want to get bored of it. I like things to move fast.
I know.
No, that's all right. I'll take the SBET money and I'll throw it back into CONL.
Yeah, I think it's fine, but even coin is at resistance, so be careful. But if it breaks, then,
I'll just wait. I'm going to wait for it to hit my back test.
Then fireworks happen if it does, I don't have much to say. Somebody asked about like BB and Grad. The longer we're going to be here, the more chart requests going to be. We're at 9 o'clock. So, what do you? Yeah.
Last one, guys. Last one.
Yeah, I'll just finish off with BB. 464 after hours. So 464, where is that on this chart? It's above the baseline, but it doesn't change the story. Still below the downward sloping 200. And as long as it's down in between this range, it's still range bound. A very, very wide range. So I want to see above 41. I want to see above 555. And then once it's above one or the other or both, then I'll get more excited. But right now, just still range bound with some possible potential to break out above if this baseline truly can hold as a support. 452.
Look at the monthly Bollinger Band though. The monthly BB for BB.
The monthly BB for BB.
He's working.
Oh yeah, it's starting to expand. Starting to expand a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah. So
I know how it bounced off of the SMA 21.
Yeah,
now it's
it is expanding downwards too.
And it started.
Yeah, and it turned a 20-month from resistance to support, like pretty clearly. So, and it's also positive sloping now. So I think you got a very baby bull trend here building on a higher time frame.
But the top of the band,
artificial
the top of the band
intelligence
also kind of matches with that 200-week moving average too. So it's got to start breaking above that level. The 462, 470. If it breaks above there, then possibly we got some momentum. But if not, I'll be cautious.
You're correct. You're not wrong. You're never. No, I mean I don't know.
I'm never wrong, except when I'm wrong. I'm not.
Matt's
wrong.
never wrong.
Yeah, sorry, we're not able to get through all the chart requests. We usually have a hard stop at 9 o'clock. But tracker, if you want to keep going, please be our guest.
So hard.
No.
such a hard stop.
Stop. Hard. You're the hard on the stop. So
I got to take off my indicators.
COINTALES.
And tracker is just the voyeur. Anyway, yeah.
All right. Well, yeah, guys.
I'm just seeing that all night long now. Thanks, guys. It's such an earworm.
Yeah.
Do something with that energy, tracker. I don't know what else to say. But,
I'll play video games. I'm gonna go play Fart Simulator on Roblox. It's hilarious and it's so much fun. If you've got kids, play Fart Simulator with your kids. They'll love it. They'll love you for playing with them. All right.
Very, very nice. Yes.
Tracker
and I will see you tomorrow.
Yep.
All right, guys. Have a good one. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks, Kat. Thanks, Matt. Bye, everybody.
Thanks, Tracker.